Hello, I'm alive. I've got my coffee vector. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So what's today's show about? Are we going to be talking about the flat Earth, or are we going to be talking about that that mystical figure that some people talk about? No, we're not. Today, we're going to talk about this beauty. What I'm going to do with this, shortly, I'll change the camera so the camera's pointed down here. I'm going to completely strip this down. I need to do some alterations with it. It's shooting a bit hot. It needs the power reducing slightly on it, so I've got to do a complete overhaul on it. And I thought it might be interesting to put it on video. So if anybody's interested in watching what I want to do with this, feel free to watch. And if anyone's got any comments while I'm doing this, put them in the chat, or we'll just chat about whatever, or whatever you want. Hopefully, it might be quite interesting for you. So I'll just change my camera angle so you can actually see what I'm going to be doing. I need to just alter my camera that I've got. Hopefully, it will just change straight over. And yeah, that's better. Right, so first thing, before we start, obviously make sure it's unloaded. I've already done that. There's no magazine in it. It's uncocked. There's nothing in it. So first thing I want to do is remove all the stuff that's attached to it, like the scope. These don't take too long to get rid of. And if you're hearing any strange noises, it's the wife upstairs. She's packing some stuff into them vacuum sealed bags. So you might hear some strange noises coming from upstairs, possibly. I'll use this one. So all I'm doing at the moment is just removing the stock. I'm hoping that I've got everything set up for what I need. Tool-wise, I should be okay. I'm going to get rid of that stock. And remove the silencer. And because we're dealing with an air rifle here, one of the most dangerous parts is obviously the air cylinder. In this air cylinder, there is, at the moment, it's about 180 bars. That'll kill you if you get this wrong. Messing about with high pressure, you've got to make sure that this is removed. Whenever dealing with high pressure and taking these types of guns apart, always remove the air cylinders. These are quite easy to remove. You don't have to degas them. You can just remove them straight from the rifle just by unscrewing them. You will get a hiss as the air comes out. There we go. And that's the air cylinder removed. And that's in bars, so it's like it's a 170 bar in there at the moment, which will be just under. I normally fill these to 200 bar, which is several thousand psi without working it out. I can't remember what it is, but it's a damn sight more than what's in your car tire, believe me. So that's what I'm left with now. And this is the bits that I need to be working on. One of the first thing I'm going to have to do is remove the trigger mechanism. This is the Virac HW100. They're quite an easy rifle to work on, to be honest. It might look like there's a lot to it, but there actually isn't. Once you've done it a couple of times, it's fairly simple. And once you remove the two Allen bolts, this one just comes straight out. The other one stays in, but you can just remove it, and that's the whole tugging mechanism removed. Very simple. The next thing I'm going to remove. Oh, battery's running low. I knew there was something I need to do. Just bear with me while I run upstairs and get my charger, because it's still upstairs from last night. I've got 10% power left, so I'll just go get my charger. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Right, that's the power on. I should have checked that before I started, shouldn't I? Basic mistake. Right, where am I? Taking the barrel off. To remove the barrel, there's just one. You can see just here. There's just one screw there to undo. Once you've undone that, it should just come straight out. If I can get the right size. That is the barrel removed. I'll just screw that back in a little bit because I don't want to lose that little screw. And what we're left with now is basically the breech block, and this is a bit which I'll need to be working inside. This bit here is the part that I need to be at. So yeah, that's what it all looks like. So who watched the debate last night then? I know Junk Shop, I think you watched it, and I think Julie watched it. I don't know if anybody else has seen it. What were your thoughts? It was good fun, wasn't it? It was just for a laugh for me. I mean, I must admit I was very nervous going on. It's the first time I've been on a big platform like that. But yeah, I had good fun with it. I could have done better. I messaged Julie and Junk Shop this morning when they commented on it and said I could have done better. I'm happy with what I did, but I could have done better. It was quite clever actually, because when I was talking about longitude and latitude, you can refer to that as an X and Y axis, because I mean basically that's what they are. So when he came out with his word salad that he comes out with, he slipped in about the X and Y axis, and I never thought anything about it. I thought it was just referring to the longitude and latitude as X and Y axis, which is fair. You can do that. But the problem is I realised afterwards that what he was referring to was basically the grid squares, which you would get on say like an ordnance survey map. Again, they've got X and Y axis. So it was correct, as in they've been using X and Y axis for a long time. But at the time, I hadn't realised it switched from longitude and latitude to grid squares. So yeah, technically it was right in that. But what he'd done is he'd come up with that much word salad that I never picked up that that's what he'd done straight away. It wasn't until afterwards I realised what he'd actually done. But yeah, it was very clever of him. But I mean, whether he actually believes, the thing is, when you talk to him and talk to people like him, I'm not 100% certain whether he actually believes the Earth is flat. I'm not convinced. I don't know whether they do it for the attention or a way of arguing or what it is, but I'm not convinced personally that he doesn't understand the arguments that he's given. Right, hopefully, what I need to do now is I've removed this plate here, and what's in there. I keep pointing this towards the screen, but I've got my camera set up over here. What I need to do is remove basically the guts that are inside this, and then I'm going to have to split this block in half. That's all Witless ever does. His blather word salad at 2 kilometres an hour is in the wrong lane. Yeah, I agree. It is a tactic that is used when it comes to debating. He comes out with that much stuff. He puts in that many big words. You literally don't have a clue what he said. It sounds, on the surface of it, it sounds like he's really come out with a lot of good stuff. And for somebody who doesn't know what he's talking about, it sounds like he knows his stuff, but it's just word salad. And I suppose if you're going to get into these debates, you're going to have to learn to try and decipher what they're saying when they come up with this word salad. Because, like they say, he came out with x-axis and y-axis while he was coming out with his word salad, which I heard him say it. But like I said, x and y-axis can also refer to longitude and latitude lines. They're just lines on a piece of paper. So you've got your x-axis and your y-axis, longitude and latitude. It works on grid squares and it works on longitude and latitude. So when he did it, I didn't really give it much of a thought because it can be referred to as that. But it wasn't until afterwards I realised what he was talking about when he was talking. He'd gone then to basically ordnance survey maps with the grid reference on it, which does not work on a globe. You cannot match up an ordnance survey map to fit a globe because obviously with the longitude and latitude lines on a globe, like I mentioned last night, north and south of the equator, the longitudinal lines get narrower the further north or the further south you go. With an ordnance survey map, the grid squares basically stay the same size throughout the whole of the map. And also the grid square coordinates do not correspond with what is on your globe model because obviously that's longitude and latitude. You can have a grid square coordinate, you can have two grid square coordinates that are two different places because the coordinates on one map will be the same coordinates on another map. What you need to do is look at your map. You might have, they normally give the maps two letters, so it might be SY. So your map will be SY, and that's the grid reference to it. The next map to it can be, whatever it's going to be, ST, SV, whatever it is. And as long as you're using the correct map, your coordinates will be correct for that ordnance survey map. That does not work with the navigational charts. The navigational charts, all of them correspond to what is on the globe. And that's what I was trying to explain to him last night. If you look at the globe and you look at the coordinates on a globe and then look at the coordinates that you have on your navigational chart, they're exact. They fit. But anyway, it was good fun. Right, let's see if I can get this off. These are normally bloody awkward, these things. I'll have to use an hammer, but I'm going to have to try and hold it in my hand because, believe it or not, underneath here is a glass table. I've put a towel down to put all my stuff on, but it's actually a glass table, so it could go a bit pear-shaped, but okay. They come out quite. Oh, that's coming out. As you can see, the pin is coming out, and that might now just pull out. Yeah. So that's loose, and on top of here, this is the bit I'm trying to get out. So if I undo this bit, this will allow everything else to move back. When this is in the rifle, this stops it moving all the way back. This bit there, I don't know if you can see it. It moves backwards and forwards. So I need to just remove this top screw here. Yeah, I'm on a command. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. What we put there, he couldn't understand the wider space in the grid squares towards the equator. He outright denied them and said, but the map is flat. I wanted to smack him. Yeah, I mean, arguing that the map is flat. Flat. I mean, I've heard this many times. Well, it's a flat map that you're using. Yeah, it is, but the flat map is a two-dimensional representation of the globe. Hence, the longitude and latitude lines on your flat map corresponding exactly with the longitude and latitude lines on the globe. Right, so this is what I've got. This is basically the hammer spring that's in here, and this is the hammer. What this does is it shoots forward. It's the valve in here and releases a small amount of hair to push the pellet down. I'm actually going to replace this. I've got a new one of these. I'm actually going to replace that. I think I have one in here somewhere. Yeah, I do. That's my spare one, and that's the one I'm going to be using. I've got loads of seals in here as well, just in case. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get away with stripping this down without having to replace a great load of seals. I shouldn't need to do because it's not an old rifle. I can't remove all that. Remove that out. Just undoing that, just in case there was a little bit of air left in the system. But there isn't. Can't remember last time you dismantled a weapon. Yeah, the ones we used to have in the military were a lot less complicated than these. Air rifles, the reason they're so expensive, I mean, this rifle is probably about £900 to buy brand new. You can buy firearms for a few hundred pounds, but the amount of work that has to go into an air rifle is phenomenal. Oh, Microopter, hi. I'm just messing about with one of my air rifles. It's running a bit hot. I want to use it for target shooting. I need to try and get the regulator turned down slightly. So I'm after accuracy, not power, and obviously also by reducing by bringing the power down slightly, it will allow me to have more air in the system. Right, what I need to do now is try and break this apart. Oh, that was easy. Right, so that's the block, and that's what I'm going to be taking apart. First of all, I need to remove this bit. Yeah, harmonica navigation did use stars to know where they were going. However, sextants only worked on the globe. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they used to use the sextant to obviously look at different celestial bodies to get the location. I mean, obviously the North Star being one of them. And the other thing as well is a bit of interesting, well, bit of useless information is, you know, when you see pirates, we always predict pirates with an eye patch on. The reason sailors in the past used to wear an eye patch is obviously back in them days, there wasn't so much health and safety when it came to work and stuff like that. And obviously using a sextant during the day, looking at the sun, it damaged their eyes. So a lot of sailors used to wear eye patches. Modern day sextants that you buy today, they come with filters on, so as not to damage your eyes by looking at the sun. And yeah, like I say, one of the hardest things to find in them days was longitude. You've got Greenwich at 0 degrees longitude, and then going east and west from there, you can have 10 degrees east or 10 degrees west. So it goes from 0 round to 180, going west, and 0 to 180 going east. And basically the 180 line is your basically your international date line. And all your times are taken from Greenwich. So basically you in America, when you sit down at 5 o'clock to have your lunch, you only do that because it's Brits tell you what time it is. Because it's all worked on off Greenwich, you're either plus or minus Greenwich Mean Time. So basically, once, I think it was about 1885, when the prime meridian was officially the UK one, as in through Greenwich. Years ago, when people used to navigate, each country would put the prime meridian, because you can put it anywhere you want, would have it going through their country, which was fair enough. But obviously, once international trade started and people started going to different countries, trading and stuff like that, if you're talking to somebody from a different country and you're lost and you're trying to get your bearings, they will be using the prime meridian from their country. So your maps and your coordinates wouldn't work with somebody else from a different country. So basically, they standardised them, and the UK basically won it. So the prime meridian goes through Greenwich, and all coordinates are taken from that location. So the hardest thing back in them days to do was find your longitude, for the simple reason they didn't have very accurate timepieces. So when somebody set off sailing, it wasn't very hard for them to find their latitude just by the celestial bodies, obviously the North Star. They could find, they knew what latitude they were on. But the hardest thing to find was longitude, because they needed an accurate timepiece. They needed to know what time it was in Greenwich and what time it was where they were. Obviously, back in them days, they would know when it was midday, because it was the time when the sun was at its highest. So they knew what time it was where they were. But if they didn't know what time it was where Greenwich, they couldn't accurately work out what their longitude was. Now, once that John Harrison invented the marine chronometer, which was basically an accurate timepiece. It was the start of the pocket watch. So he invented this timepiece. It was that accurate that it could track time. It had no problem in tracking time. So if it's midday where you are and you know what time it is, and you also know what time it is in Greenwich, you could work out what your longitude was, because we know that the sun tracks across the sky at 15 degrees per hour. Like I said last night, if it's 12 o'clock in Greenwich and it is only 10 o'clock where you are, you know you're 30 degrees west of Greenwich, because it's obviously the sun is going to be midday in Greenwich before it's midday, and it's not midday where you are. You must be west of Greenwich. So working out the hours difference at 15 degrees per hour, you can work out you're 30 degrees west of Greenwich, or you can work out whether you're 30 degrees east of Greenwich, and so on and so forth, depending on what time of day it is. So once he'd invented this chronometer, navigation became much more easier and basically safer to do. Right, so where am I? These are the. I'm going to have to sort these out and put them all into the right order now. These basically are what go into the regulator. And I'm going to clean that up. Inside there, doesn't look too bad actually. And I'm going to put that one. I'm going to put that one back in. And I'm going to have to just find out. I didn't do this earlier. I need to know in what order they need to go. I might have one on my phone. Let's see if I can find it. I've just seen that on my phone. little grandson. Need to find out where them. I might have to Google it. I do have it somewhere written down. And, they need to go in a certain way. There's a certain way of putting them in. You can put them in one way and it makes it FAC, or put it in another way and it makes it okay for the UK, which is what I need it set at. Should have looked for that earlier before I took it apart. I do have it somewhere. Googling it. SW100. I actually thought about this before I. There we are. Right, so these all want to go. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's good. So these washers are basically the you won't be able to see it, but they're beveled, and they've got to go in different orders. They're awkward, frilly bloody things and all. What was that way? That was that way. And you'll see once I've done these, it creates a bit of a pattern. Right up here. Do I want it? You might get away with 14. No, we don't want to get away with 14. Put another 2 in. So the stacks, so they look like that. I don't know if you can see the gaps in between them. There's slight gaps in between them, so there's like 4 stacks. I basically just drop them back in there. I'll just check and make sure there's no. Yeah, I've just noticed that come up. Yeah, cheers for that jump shot. You're right, I did. Choose me one I need from that one. Screw that back up, but I don't want to go too tight with it. So now that I've got them swapped round and replaced, I need to put it all back together, and then I need to charge it up and change the pressure in the regulator, which is basically what I'm messing about with at the moment. And normally in these, they're set at about 90, well, between 85 and 95 bar. So I'm going to go for the middle. I'm going to set it at 90 bar and see what it comes out at. And then I'll either have to turn it up or down from that 95 bar, 90 bar. But the problem is every time I need to change it, I need to take the whole thing back apart to at least this stage, so that I can get to that bit, which is what changes my regulator. And to test the regulator pressure, I've got to use this. And that basically is going to screw onto there. So when I put the air cylinder on, I can then see how much pressure is going into this system. When tightening this as well, you don't want to tighten it with that. Just do it until it gets hand tight, and then just with a 10mm, just nip it up. You don't have to go mega tight with it. And then taking your air cylinder, screw this back in. Try and So now I've eventually got this on. As you can see, the pressure in there isn't that high, so I need to now turn the pressure up by using an Allen key and slowly tightening that up. I'm able to get the right size Allen key. And slowly increasing the pressure that's inside the regulator, which is why I said at the beginning that you don't tighten these up straight away. Don't know my mic went off. All right, no, I didn't. So I've been talking to myself. I keep increasing this now until, let's say, I get to 95 bar, which is about here. I don't know whether to go to 90. The thing is once I can't back this off without degassing it. Just you can increase the pressure in these while your cylinder's attached, but obviously you can't decrease the pressure in these while your cylinder is attached. And I believe that you do have a possibility of damaging your regulator if you try and go the opposite way. So you can only increase while the air cylinder is on. That's now got me to 80 bar. $85. That's at 90 bar. A little bit further. Yeah, that's almost 95 bar. So that should be about where I want it all set. It's a bit difficult to get to see it, but anyway. So now what I need to do is remove the cylinder, because obviously this is all now pressurized up and I've got no way of getting the pressure out because the rest of the mechanism isn't attached. So there's nothing to actually hit the plunger. So I now need to remove this off. And again, we'll get that hiss of air as it comes off. There it is. And we're back down to 0, so we know that this system is empty, so I can remove that safely. Hey up, Ox. You just sneaked in, have you? So now it's just a case of putting it all back together, testing it on a chronograph, which I've got one somewhere. Yeah, this little thing here, once we've got it all put back together, this goes on the front of the rifle with the barrel attached through here. Turns on. Right, that's ready to go now. And what happens then is these two here, they pick up the pellet moving across the two spots. So it came up with error there because it's trying to read what I'm doing, but I'm going too slow for it to read it. So as the pellet goes up, passes these 2 points, it knows the measurements between these 2 points and it works out the velocity of the pellet. Then using a simple equation, you can then work out this does it in meters, I think. I have to check. I think it does it in meters. Then I need to convert it from meters to feet and then work out the foot-pounds from the feet. So then that will I will then need to work out what the foot-pound of pressure is that the pellet is producing, and I want it to be below 12 foot-pound of pressure. Like I said, this is mainly going to be used for target shooting. It's not for power, it's for accuracy. How long have we been on now? 50 minutes. Yeah, it took me a good hour to do these jobs. I'll probably get so far on with this and then stop. Don't want to bore you all today. I just thought I'd, while I was doing this, I thought, I might as well stick it on camera. Something for people to look at. Plus, I don't seem to put a lot out, do I? So I need to start doing more. Target shooting is best. Yeah, you don't kill something, do you? I used to go out hunting years ago. I mean, I still would now, but yeah, I enjoy doing target shooting. I'm a member of the local club for target shooting. And in fact, while we're on with that, well, unfortunately, for the last over 12 months, we haven't been able to go. So I've done nothing last season, and obviously this season, I still haven't signed up to anything because everything's shut. We're not allowed to go. I mean, I do have enough space in my garden. You can actually shoot these in your garden as long as you put a decent backstop up to make sure that the pellets don't leave the boundary of your land. I mean, even though that these are used as target shooting and they're only at about 12 foot-pounds of pressure, they would kill you at close range. It's quite possible to kill somebody with one of these. They're not a toy, and I think that's the problem. Is a lot of people do think they are toys, and that's how accidents happen. All right, we're not talking the power of a bullet rifle. You know, even a 2.2 bullet rifle is a lot more powerful than what this is. But at close range, if accidents happen, you're going to seriously injure somebody, and you do run the possibility of killing somebody. They should be treated exactly the same as any other firearm. But unfortunately, because people think, well, they're only air rifles, they're not that dangerous, people tend to not treat them with the same respect. And accidents happen and people get seriously injured or killed. Do you have to be a member of a target shooting club to shoot at a range legally? No. I mean, believe it or not, even in the UK, that we've got strict gun laws. These type of weapons you don't need a license for, even though they are actually capable of killing you, and they're certainly adequate for going out hunting, especially with the type of stuff that we hunt over here. No problem killing hares, rabbits, pheasants, pigeons, you know, small stuff that we have over here. You have no problem with killing them with these. But they're unlicensed, and that's what makes them dangerous. I mean, target shooting at a club, you could turn up at a club. You do have some way you could turn up and you can do like a day's membership and you can use their facilities for target shooting. But if you wanted to take part into competition shooting, no, you'd need to be a member of a club, and then you as a club member will be put forward to represent your club in different types of target shooting. And also within your club, you do competitions within your club itself. Like I said, I know we're on at the club, but if I just nip upstairs, I can show you what I've actually won at the club. So basically, these are the medals that I've managed to win since I've been shooting at the club. I also do pistol shooting as well, so that's one I've got for autofocus. It's not sure, is it? But that's the Leeds Rifle and Revolver Club. So I took part in a competition that was run by the Leeds branch, and I managed to win that one. That was with the pistol. That was same. That was 2018-2019 Division 15 winner. So I won that one. That was Leeds pistol as well. And then these are from the club. I've got the 20-yard winner, pre-1980, 10-meter rifle. So these are the pre-1980. These are the vintage. This was for the shooting the vintage rifles, which I quite enjoy the vintage ones. I showed you that one before, but the one I use. This is the one I won that with. This is a pre-Second World War. It's about 1930s. They started making these about 1905 to about 1930, 1940, just prior to, well, it's about 39, won't it, just prior to the Second World War starting. And that was the rifle that I used. It'd be okay for hunting. It's still powerful enough. I wouldn't, because it's not that accurate. It's iron sights, but back in its day, it was perfectly capable of hunting rabbits. And this is in immaculate condition. So that's my old rifle that I've got. So yeah, these are all the medals I've managed to win, which I'm quite pleased about. And then just prior to lockdown, I managed to get the club's 100 badge, and that's basically for getting maximum score with a spring air rifle, not a PCP. You don't get the badge for getting 100 with PCP, but however, for using a spring rifle, you do get a badge for that. So I managed to get me 100 club badge, which I was pleased about. Anyway, back to what I'm doing. really think. I can't believe you all stayed this long for just watching me fiddling about with an air rifle. I didn't think it'd be that interesting, to be honest. So I had to put that back in. Remember this bit that I had to take out. Now, the most awkward bit to do I'll have to take that off. I need to put the it's going to be easier if I put the other bit in first. The cocking arm, because all the linkages for the cocking arm, that's the awkward fiddly bit to get in. This isn't too bad. Yeah, it'd be better off putting this in first. And you've got this spring here, this cap thing here. And when you first, I'm hoping I remember how it goes. That goes on there, like that. And then that is going to hold it into position once it's in. It's a right fiddly job. Actually, it doesn't look like it's going to be that bad. I bet if that goes there, into that bit, and that there's going to go there. Bloody spring. I'm trying to get that spring into position. Take that out. Just see how that fits in there. Right, so that's going to go like that. Try and get it into line. Oh, wife says she just wants to speak to me. I'll just have to mute you all, or mute myself. It's been awkward. And, right. I think I'm getting there. This is always a bit hurt doing. That bloody spring. It's been bloody awkward. Every time I put that spring on, it seems to not work. Let me have a look. I think I've sussed out what it is. It's just been bloody awkward. It's now wedged. Need to get that spring bit back out. There it is. Sure that's the right way. In there. That's not right. Oh yeah, sod. Alright, see how that goes in that bit. That's the way it goes. Getting there slowly, bear with me. Need to put that there. So I get this bit done. This bit is the boring bit for you lot watching. So awkward trying to get that spring to go in without coming off. Because once I lose tension on it, the spring pops off. And what happens then is where that little bit, that bit there, that wedges between the two and it holds it into position. But it's getting them both to go in at the same time without reducing the tension on the spring and it falling off. And then I start all over again. Yo, right, done it. And see now that holds it in with the spring. But if I let go, unfortunately, if I let go of this, it all pops out again. So now I've got to hopefully get this in. Yeah. Right, my cap. All that there, put this cap back on. Once I've got that pin back through there, I've got to try and hold everything together. Get this pin back in to hold the cocking lever arm in. Once I've got that in, it'll hold everything into position for me. Right, it's not flowing through there properly very well. Maybe look, this was the one. Goes in nicely. So stopping this one going in just as nicely. Let's do that. That one will go in. Just stopping that. All right, okay, Julie. Yeah, sorry, I've been checking the chat. If you're still there, yeah, I've got that. Right, yeah, I've still got 6 people watching. I can't believe there's that many people watching. Such a bore. Me putting all this back together. Aha. Now I think I know what the problem was. Is I bet I need to get that into there. Right, let's have a look at this one. Still doesn't go far enough though. Why is that not going far enough? Something I'm missing somewhere. I'm doing something wrong somewhere. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it the way that I didn't want to do it, which was to try and get it all done at the same time. The fiddly way of doing it. I think I've sussed out what my problem was. I'll try and do this without getting all the bloody thing out again. The spring. I think that needs to go. I don't want want that one in. I think that goes on there. That one. Sorry you can't see this bit, but it's been a bit fiddly. I just need to try and get that. Got it. That was a fiddly bugger. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to hold the spring and get the cocking arm, put the hammer all in at the same time without losing grip of one or the other. Because if we do, it all falls to bloody bits. And if I can get this pin in, we're safe. Come on. We'll do that as it's all going to fall to bits. Got it. Bloody hell. Right, that's all back inside now. You need about 4 hands. But that's the hardest bit done. It's all dead easy from this stage. Just faffing about. Just no matter what happens now, I shouldn't have to take all this back to bits, even to alter the other bits. I shouldn't need to take it all back to bits. That's all working fine. Spot on. Put my barrel back in. I'm only on my second caffeinated beverage. I'm going to blame the spelling on that. I haven't had one yet, my tea. Trying about with this. That shouldn't be awkward. I'm trying to get that. There we go. it's a little thing, but I like to turn it round so that the serial number faces to the side so you can see it. So all that back in. Now for the trigger block. Here's my Allen key for that. That's the one. You have to go, yeah, all right, Julie, thanks for turning up anyway. I'm doing your own junk shop. Hi, Spooky Bedder. I don't know if you were in earlier, but I've been having a right faff about with this thing. And I can't see it at the moment. I'm just putting the cap back on the end. Yeah, I was just putting this cap back on. So that's the main part of it all back together. All I need to do now is put the rest on. I'll put my air cylinder back in. And hopefully, when I do this, I don't get any leaks. Put my moderator back on. So it'll make a bit of a noise if I don't. What I'll do now is, obviously because I've had it all to bits, I know there's nothing in it. I need to make sure that this works, so I can still, that's cocked it, and then if I point down there, we should get a bit of a bang. Yeah. Blows the paper out of the way. Yeah. So all we need to do now is get the magazine with some pellets. I'll need to nip into the back garden. And just fire a couple of shots over the chronograph just to see what power is coming out of it. So this is my chronograph that I'm going to be using. That just I'll swap cameras so you can see a little bit better. Fiddly, yeah, it's been really fiddly, Mark. Especially the last little bit, getting all these in together. You've got to have like about 4 pairs of hands, but you've got to hold it all in the same position as you're putting a pin in. And if you just slacken one little tiny bit off, the spring pops out and you've got to start over again. So, yeah, I've just got my magazine loaded up. I'll turn the chronograph on when I get outside. A couple of shots, take a reading, and hopefully I'm about where I want to be on power-wise. I'll just mute my mic while I go out and do it, and I'll be back in a... So that was doing 229 meters per second. So 229 meters to feet is 751. Hey, 751 feet per second. I normally don't go anything above 777, which is basically the magic number, which is 770 feet per second. This is doing 751. So 751 in foot-pounds, I'm hoping to be about 11 point something. So I'll do a quick conversion. What did I say it was? 751. .751 feet per second. I need my pellet weight, which is 8.48. 8.48. .48. 1062. I'm gonna have to put it up a little bit. Almost another foot-pound out of it. But anyway, that's the energy it's putting out at the moment, which is 10.62 foot-pound. I want to go a bit higher than that. Put it about 11.5. But that's an easy enough job to do. I've been going for an hour 40. So all I've got to do really is just split that again, increase the pressure going into the mine's gone blank regulator. So I need to increase the pressure in the regulator probably up to the 95, which I originally thought I would probably have to do it at, but I didn't want to go too high, so I set it at 90 bar. And I knew I should have done. I should have set it at 95 bar, and I would probably be about there. But that's something I can do, and all I've got to do really is just put all this back together, and it's back as a rifle. You don't need to sit and watch me do all this, changing the regulator setting. It's an Allen key, just increase the regulator setting, and that'll put me back to where I want to be. So I'm almost there. I'm gonna have a cup of tea. I think the wife needs to go to Next to take some shopping back, and then I'll finish this when I get back and just increase the regulator pressure slightly, just to give me the amount of power that I want. Thanks very much for turning up. I hope we've enjoyed this little bit of a video. Is there a magic number where the muzzle velocity would be too high and the air rifle would be illegal? Yes, in this country there is. In this country, you can't have an air rifle over 12 foot-pounds of energy. That's why I like to get mine to about 11.5, which is the magic number, which is 777. So with 177 pellets, if they're traveling at 770 feet per second, you will remain within the legal limit, which would be probably just a little bit under 11.5 foot-pound. Perfectly fine over here. You can have them above 12 foot-pounds of energy, but then you've got to have a firearms certificate to hold them. I don't have a firearms certificate. I used to have years ago, but I just shoot air rifles. I'm quite happy at shooting sub 12 foot-pound air rifles, which in this country, no license is required. There is rules that go with it. You can't walk about the streets with these. You've got to treat them exactly the same as you do a firearms, but you don't have to have a license for them. I keep mine in a gun cabinet, just as if it's any other rifle. But no, mine are below 12 foot-pounds, so that I don't need to prat about getting a license. And that's about it, really. So yeah, you can go above 12 foot-pound, but you need a firearms certificate. Below 12 foot-pound, you don't need any license whatsoever. And to be honest, with the 177s that I use, and if you go too high in energy, the pellets go all over the place. Especially with 177. If you're wanting to go higher, really, you probably want to go with 2.2s rather than 177 for the FACs. Go for the 2.2, because using the same energy that this is using, which I just said, this is 751 feet per second at the moment. A 2.2 pellet shooting at exactly the same power will have less velocity because the pellet weighs more. So the 2.2 would only be traveling at about 500 to 600 feet per second, whereas this is doing over 700 feet per second. But the power or the energy will be exactly the same. It's just that these are smaller, lighter pellets, so they can travel faster, which is why I use these for target shooting. Because they're traveling faster, the trajectory is less of a trajectory, so they're a little bit more accurate. That's why I use 177. I do have some 2.2s, but for my target shooting, I use 177. So I hope that answered your question, Mark. Bit of a long-winded one, but we got there. Anyway, I'll let you all get off. I'm going to get off and make myself a cup of tea, and then I'll increase the regulator pressure later on. Thanks, everybody, for turning up, and I'll catch you all later. And I'm going to end with my little video because I like it. Yeah, speak to you later, Spooky. I'm going to end with my little flying video because I like it that Vince from Music Analysts made me. Yeah, no worries, Mark. I'm going to end with my video now.